name's Dammann, and I wanted to be on Cook Like a Chef because as an apprentice, I grew up watching the show. Oh, the humble potato. I think everyone thinks they make potatoes really, really well. Seems so easy, doesn't it? But there's so many ways you can make mistakes. There's a lot of fundamental techniques in this episode that are gonna bring your potatoes from ordinary to extraordinary. Here goes nothing, eh? Morning, Chef. How's it coming?
It's going well, Chef. Thank you.
Good. All right. There are good mashed potatoes and there are exceptional mashed potatoes. I'm going to show you how to make exceptional mashed potatoes. Red skin potatoes, waxy, great for gratins. We have russets, starchy white flesh, perfect for frying. Yukon Golds, creamy, creamy yellow flesh potato, my go-to for mashed potatoes. So I'm putting these into a pot of cold water. Cold water because I want to bring it up at an even temperature. If I bring these up to a ferocious boil right away, like a cowboy, what's gonna happen is both ends are gonna cook before the middle, and this is gonna be waterlogged, and this is gonna be undercooked, and it's gonna give you lumpy, gluey mashed potatoes. I'm gonna add some chicken stock and some aromatics. Bay leaf and peppercorn. Potatoes are cooked and drained. How do I know they're cooked? That's extremely hot. But you want it to be just enough for a knife to pierce it, and it'll basically break apart. But just because they're strained and the water's gone, doesn't mean that all the moisture's out of the potatoes. Take a fork and break them all up, and you start to see all this steam evaporate. And that's even more moisture coming out of the potatoes. You want to get these as dry as possible. Now I want to make sure I have the silky, smoothie mashed potatoes that I want. My go-to, though, is use a food mill. As you're passing this, even more steam is going to be coming out, making them even more dry, making sure they're going to absorb more of that butter and cream. I don't know if you have one of these at home, Jillian, but you should definitely get one. So now I'm gonna split these into two pots. First pot's gonna be for something later that's gonna be, it's just unreal. The second pot is gonna be for amazing mashed potatoes. Medium heat. I'm just gonna add these to the pot. All potatoes are created a little bit differently, and they're gonna absorb a different amount of fat. I add it in cold, the butter emulsifies better. I think what sets these over the top are the fact of my butter to cream ratio, which is 85% butter, 15% cream. So at this point, I'm gonna season. Nothing really special about that, except for the last seasoning, which I find brings everything into balance, is fresh nutmeg. A few little rasps. Those are fantastic. I've made fantastic mashed potatoes, but this is how I'm gonna take those mashed potatoes to the very next level. And it's a dish from Auvergne, France called Aligot. Mashed potatoes with a whole bunch of cheese melted into it. One is tome, which is a surface ripened cow's milk cheese, which comes from the exact same region. But what I want to do is cut off the rind. So I want the tome in nice thin pieces. That way it's going to emulsify into the potatoes really nicely. Second cheese I'm using is a white cheddar for a little taste of home. This is the other half of the potatoes from making the mash. Over medium heat. Just going to add a bit of garlic. We'll start adding the cheese a little bit at a time. So this is the exact same method as making the mashed potatoes. I will admit it's 10 times more work, but the result is just incredible. You'll see. My arm is sore as hell, but this is exactly where I want to be. Big, cheesy strands. Look at this. Incredible. It's just unreal. What a showstopper. Unbelievable. This is a real labor of love. You really got to work it and work it and work it. And just pulling those strands at your table are really going to impress the guests. Gnocchi, one of my favorite things to eat. Also one of the easiest things you can make. If you can bake a potato, then you can make gnocchi. The key to a good gnocchi is using russet potatoes. Once they're baked, the flesh inside becomes nice, light, and fluffy, which is exactly what I want to get nice, light pillows. So just hinge the potatoes. Not going to use the skins, you're just going to scoop out the flesh. For these, pass them through a ricer. The rest of that moisture in the potato is going to steam out. Make a little well in the center. The egg's going to act as a binder for all this and make them really light. I don't want to have the egg directly on the potatoes because the potatoes are hot. What that's going to do is scramble the egg. As with everything, season in layers. And the one little ingredient that's going to bring this over the top is a little bit of fresh grated nutmeg. When adding the flour, it's important to remember you can put it in, but you can't take it out. Now it's just a matter of kneading it into a smooth dough. Break this off into quarters, start rolling out my gnocchi ropes. You know, you want to start in the center, move out to the edges, and you want something that's going to be about as thick as your index finger. All right, there are two schools of thought here. Some people like ridges on their gnocchi. You can do it on the back of it. There's little gnocchi boards you can buy, or you can do it on the back of a fork. Check this out, Jillian. Me personally, I'm a pillow guy. Just scoop them onto a floured tray. Thank you. Gnocchi lends itself to almost any type of sauce, but my personal favorite and the favorite of my sons is sage butter. Starting in a medium pan, just want to add a good amount of butter. You don't want to brown it, just want to let it melt. To that, I'm going to add my sage leaves. And basically, just like that, the sauce is done. boiling salted water. Once the gnocchi goes in, as soon as it floats, it's finished. So once you start to get a nice sizzle on the stage in the butter, the pasta water is full of starch, which is going to end up thickening the sauce. Gnocchi are all floating now. Scoop those into the pan. Gnocchi is the star of this dish. The sauce is the condiment. It's all about these little pillows. You don't want to have too much, just enough so it's coating each individual dumpling. Hit a lemon juice, just because it is very rich, to cut through everything, and obviously the final layer of salt. Give this a second just to tick away. Let's go have a taste. And the last thing to tie all this together is to have really, really good quality olive oil. Gnocchi with sage brown butter. Amazing. Amazing. Wow.
You can't let gnocchi be threatening. It couldn't be easier. And I make it at home all the time simply because of that reason, and also because I love the taste. It's potato and cheese. That's it. That's all you want to taste. Just like the Aligot, but these are more pillowy.
Two very different techniques, both featuring the same 4 ingredients: salt, pepper, clarified butter, and russet potatoes. One's a bit more rustic, one's a bit more refined. I'm gonna get these cleaned up and we're gonna be ready to go. Two things I need to remember about making a rosti is the second these potatoes hit the box grater, they're gonna start to oxidize. And 2, that these potatoes are full of starch, and I need to remove that so my rosti becomes crispy on both sides. So, into ice water, and I can see right away that the water's turning milky. That's all the starch coming off the potatoes. Now the problem is, how do I get all that water off the potatoes? I'm gonna use a rag. It's not rocket science, just gotta wring it out. That's it. Okay, bundle this up. We're gonna wring this bad boy. Now I've got my dry potatoes. And I know I said it was 4 ingredients, but I'm gonna add a bit of thyme. I love using fresh herbs, and a bit of parsley to this mix. I've got a pan going on medium heat. Best thing to use for this for flavor is clarified butter. Clarified butter is simply butter that's been melted and the milk solids have been removed, and the butter has a higher smoking point. This is a rustic dish, but doesn't mean it has to look sloppy. So you can take a little spatula and clean up the edges.
You're on camera, chef. So.
All right, let's flip this. Oh yeah, 2 minutes for looking too good. Look at that. Rosti. For the more refined version, Pommes Anna. Same 4 ingredients: salt, pepper, potatoes, clarified butter. I want everything to be symmetrical, because after this is done, the bottom is gonna become the top. I'm brushing each layer with clarified butter and salt and pepper. Making Pommes Anna is super therapeutic to me. There's something about it that is very, very, very relaxing. So, I'm gonna start this in a pan over medium heat. Get it with a little slick of clarified butter, just to get it going. And right over here, I've got one ready to go. You see around the edges, it's starting to get beautiful and golden. The oven's gonna finish the rest of the work. Check this out. This is amazing. This turned out perfectly, exactly how I wanted. Now let's taste this bad boy. Wow. So buttery and so rich. What a pleasure. Let's try this little fella. I like to dress it up with sour cream and some chives. I could eat this every day. Chefs, same 4 ingredients. Tell me what you think.
The Pommes Anna, you have a little bit of crisp on the outside on each end, but in the middle, it's just creamy and buttery. So rich. Whereas rosti is a hash brown. If you like hash browns, you're gonna like rosti.
I love Confit. It's been on the menu at my restaurant since we opened, and it's become one of our best sellers. But I thought to myself when I had to come up with a new dish, is why do we always have to associate this technique with proteins? Why can't we do it with vegetables? So here I'm gonna make the Confit potato. Confit is basically anything cooked in fat at a low temperature for a long time. And it's only as good as the fat that you use. So in this case, I'm gonna use olive oil. You want just enough so the tops are out. Think alligators in a swamp. Just their heads are poking out. There's gonna be enough moisture coming off these that the actual level of the oil is gonna come up a little bit more. Now it's time to flavor these. Obviously, no confit is complete without salt. Aromatics are thyme, garlic, and bay leaf. Simple as that. No rag, because when these were ready, I turned the oven off and let them sit in the oven overnight. That way it absorb all those aromatics and flavors and become rich, 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 and flavorful. All right, look at these babies. They're amazing right now, but let's take these to the next level. Watch this. By peeling these potatoes, we're gonna show off the beautiful, beautiful yellow flesh inside and how rich they are from all that olive oil and aromatics. Look at that when they're all done. They're like little jewels. They're gonna be beautiful with the chicken glaze. Oh, hey, how's it going?
Fine.
Yeah, you just want to try and take the skin. It's not as much as the flesh, so they stay nice and round like this. Two left. There you go. Thank you for your help, Chef.
This was fun.
The dirty work is done. Now it's time to take these little jewels and take them to the next level. I have a cast iron pan over medium heat. In with the potatoes. Don't want any color at all. 3 simple steps just to finish this dish. Chicken jus. Chicken stock that's been reduced down to a glaze. As this is bubbling away, when this starts to reduce, this is becoming way too rich, so we have to cut through that richness with some acidity. First thing I'm gonna use is a bit of red wine vinegar, a few drops. Another thing for a bit of pop that's gonna glaze these up beautifully and thicken the sauce is a bit of grainy Dijon mustard. So you have a bit of heat, a bit of sweetness, and the pop of the seeds. So now all that's left to do is just glaze these potatoes and keep basting. I'm really glad I took the extra steps to peel these potatoes. They took on the glaze beautifully. It's all about presentation at this point. Rich, beautiful potatoes, the sharp mustard and the red wine vinegar. This is gonna be absolutely delicious. All right, let's have a taste. Man, this dish is everything. So simple, so elegant, worth every minute of work. Deepa, come try this.
Yes, chef. Thank you, chef.
Oh, the humble potato. Everyone that becomes a chef and starts out as a cook goes through several steps, trying to put things together that don't necessarily go together, and then you mature as a cook and become a chef. I think it's important to take 10 steps back before I take one forward and understand my ingredients and elaborate on them.